Good afternoon, I'm TK, and this is TK's video blog. Good to have you with us, good to see you all again. Welcome. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, let's get right down to it, shall we, and review our movie of the day. This week's movie is Wicked. The movie stars Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, Jonathan Bailey, Ethan Slater, Bowen Yang, Marissa Bodie, Peter Dinklage, Michelle Yeoh, Jeff Goldblum, Bronwyn James, Andy Nyman, Courtney May Briggs, Keela Settle, and Sharon D. Clark. So, what's the movie about? Well, spoiler alert, the plot of the movie, it is the same plot pretty much as the stage show Wicked. Now, there are a few differences, as you might expect, stage to screen. However, the plot pretty much follows the stage musical, the stage show. So, there's that. Be aware of that. And the plot of the movie is essentially this, much like the stage show. It is set in Oz before the arrival of Dorothy, and it really tells the backstory of Elphaba and how she becomes the Wicked Witch of the West, and Galinda, who of course becomes Glinda the Good. Now the twist is, in their past lives, Elphaba and Glinda, or Galinda, they were classmates, rivals, and then eventually friends. Now of course this is a musical movie, much like the stage musical. It's an adaptation of it, and so there's a lot of songs in the movie, very catchy, they stick in your head, I'll talk about that later, but it makes sense because again it's adapted from a musical. Now another thing worth mentioning with this movie is, while I did say it does follow the stage musical, it does have a few things that are expanded upon, fleshed out, some sequences, some songs. The sequences for the songs themselves, the sequences are extended, not so much the songs, but the sequences that the songs fit into, I think, are extended. Specifically one, which I'll talk about later. So there might be a little bit of spoiler there, but not too much. I'm going to try to avoid that as much as possible. But all in all, for the movie, and the musical for that matter, the movie and the musical, but in this case the movie, has a very good plot, a very interesting plot, engaging plot, worthy of being told, and it's just really good, especially for people who like The Wizard of Oz or anything Oz related. So just really good movie plot there for sure, really strong. So let's talk about the movie a little more in depth now, shall we? So the plot of the movie is an interesting plot. Again, it's the same as the stage show, but it's an interesting plot, especially for fans of The Wizard of Oz. And it's interesting to see the backstory of Glinda, Galinda, and Elphaba, and how they came to be who we know them as. And from that aspect, I really like it, I really dig it. Now, as far as the plot itself, there are some differences, as I said. One of the main differences, at least that comes to mind, is the sequence for Defying Gravity. Now, the song itself isn't changed, but it's more spliced up throughout the sequence that it's in. And some people had an issue with that. Me personally, I kind of like that. I think it works, and I was content with that. So that works, I think. But overall, the plot really follows the stage show pretty well. Again, there's some stuff that's fleshed out, some plot elements, some character dynamics and stuff, but I think overall it follows the stage show pretty well, and it's a good plot again, it's entertaining, it keeps you hooked, keeps you entertained, it's just really good. And also the fact it's a musical. Some people don't like musical movies, and I mean this is an adaptation so it has to be musical. Me personally, again, I like it, I think it works. The plot of the movie, it keeps you hooked, it keeps you engaged, and that's really what you want from any plot, to keep you hooked, to keep you in the movie, because if it lets you out at all, then it kind of lets you down a little bit. But it doesn't do that in this case. It's really good. The plot is really strong. Now, as far as the casting in the movie goes, the movie's well cast. Ariana Grande, I believe this is her big first motion picture movie, aside from doing the Nickelodeon TV shows. And I was a little bit concerned how she might do small screen to big screen, but she really does do well in this. She has some very subtle character things, some very subtle looks, very subtle reactions, and I like it. I think she has a lot of potential to build in the second movie, which is really what it's all about, I think. And yeah, I mean, I think she's really good in this movie, so I would give her very high marks. Singing-wise, she's just on another level, so she is fantastic. Cynthia Erivo, again, fantastic voice, well cast, and it just really works. The rest of the cast is very well cast as well in their roles. They have the believability factor, which you've heard me talk about all season long, and it is, if you believe what the actors and actresses are saying, what they're selling on the screen, you're going to connect with them on a deeper level, a more emotional level, and it's just going to come across better, and it does in this case. So my hat is off to all of them. I give the casting very, very, very high marks indeed. Now, the music in the movie, so the music is pretty much the same as the Broadway show. It doesn't really deviate too much. There is one song that adds a couple verses. It's called One Short Day, and the verses it adds, I don't really want to give away too many spoilers of any cameos in the movie, but it does have two cameos in the song, two features on the song that are really, really cool, especially for any fans of the Broadway show, like myself. So you'll want to listen for those, but those are a nice touch. But overall, aside from that song, the music really does follow the Broadway version pretty close. Defying Gravity, again, the sequence is extended, not so much the song itself, actually not at all the song itself, I don't believe. But overall, the music does follow the Broadway show pretty well and is pretty faithful, which is great. I love that. Now, I will say, Defying Gravity, that's where the movie ends. That's the cutoff point of Defying Gravity. And so it had to be like a showstopper. It had to be like, it had to bring down the curtain. It had to like leave it in a good place. And I think it does that. It does hit all the right notes. It works. The voices are great. Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo, great. They're different from Kristen Chenoweth and Idina Menzel, very different. But I think that works because I don't think you want something that's a carbon copy. I think you want different, and I think that works. And it ended the movie where it needed to and on a good note. So just really good there. Really impressed with Defying Gravity. The songs in this movie are catchy. You remember them. They're memorable. And that's what you want for music in a movie or a stage show, but a movie in this case. So again, the music, spot on. It follows the Broadway show to a T. It's well done, it brings down the house where it needs to, and it just, again, pun intended, hits all the right notes. Now, the editing in the movie, as you know, editing is a very big thing for me. I'm an editor myself. It was well done, good continuity, good flow, really good there. I give that really high marks. The CGI in the movie, that is well done. I mean, you can tell it's CGI in several places, especially with the flying monkeys, but it's well done. I give that high marks as well. Now, the only thing about the movie I personally wasn't crazy about is the turn from rivals to friends for Glinda and Alphaba. So here's the thing. I personally thought that was a little too fast and unrealistic. There wasn't enough time spent with that, and it wasn't explained enough. Now, that said, I don't know if that's a problem. I don't know if that was present, if that's an issue in the stage show too or not, or the original story or not. I don't know how fleshed out it is in that, and I don't know if the movie glossed over that a little bit or not. So not knowing that, I can't really say that that is an issue with the movie. I can't really hold that against the movie, but that is really my only nitpick, and that's a real nitpick. Overall, the movie, aside from the one nitpick I had, it was good plot, good flow. I think that it's very faithful to the stage show. The music is good, voice is good, casting good. Everything works in the movie. I mean, there's no real complaints except for that one nitpick I had. So overall, it's a really good movie, really solid. So this movie was great, and that's a great thing because, you know, you wanted it to be good, it hit all the right notes. However, here's the thing. The thing is that adds a little bit of jeopardy now and a little bit more pressure for part 2 coming out next year because now part 2 needs to match part 1 or potentially exceed part 1. And can it do it? Well, I guess we'll find out next year this time. So, all that being said, what would I give the movie out of 20 and would I recommend it to you all? Well, I would give the movie a 20 out of 20. Now, that is a really good score, and that is pretty much the highest score on my rating. I'm going to tell you why I have to give it a 20 out of 20. It's because, yes, it had some flaws. Yes, there were some things I didn't like, especially that one nitpick. I mean, mainly that one nitpick with the relationship, the rivalry being turned into a friendship too quickly. But again, I can't hold that against the movie because I don't know if that was an issue with the movie or the stage show or the book or anything in general. So I don't know where that issue is, or what the issue is with, I should say. But that said, I think the movie is well balanced. Everything works in it. The humor, the heart, the emotion, the music, the casting, everything works. And it's for that reason, the balance in it, that I have to give it a 20 out of 20 because it really is well balanced. And I think that especially the ending with Defying Gravity, that song being good and being a home run, that really elevated it and really made it the movie it needed to be. And I think had that song not hit the right notes, had that song fallen flat, it might be a lower score, but that song balances itself out. And I mean, really everything is balanced out, and not just that song, but that song really helped to balance things out. And yeah, I mean, overall, it's a very well balanced movie. It's a very good movie. I would very, very, very highly recommend watching it and seeing it. It's definitely a 20 out of 20 for sure. A very strong 20 out of 20, I should say, as well. Alright, well, looking at my watch, it looks like we're about out of time. So please, until next week, remember I'm pointing at the comment section now. Remember all season long, I want to hear from you. What do you like about this blog? What don't you like about this blog? What could I do differently to make this blog better? All that good stuff and then some. I'd love to hear from you all. I really, really would. Also, please remember, all season long, you can recommend a movie, TV show, book, song, album for me to review, and I might just review it for you all right here on TK's video blog. Now, I can't promise you all that you'll like the review or agree with everything I have to say in the review. What I will promise you all is that I will always keep it fair, and I will always keep it honest. That is my commitment to you all, as always. So, with that all being said, until next week, take care, be safe, and goodbye, everyone. Have a great weekend. I'll see you right back here next week.